VARNI Study Circle Listening Test 3. You will be hearing a speech on spices. Now you have time to look at questions 1 to 10. No time will be given in between section 1, so you should look at whole section at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow enthusiasts. Today, I stand before you to celebrate the essence of flavor, culture, and history, spices. These tiny, aromatic treasures have played a monumental role in shaping the course of human civilization, transforming cuisine, trade, and even influencing global exploration. Allow me to take you on a journey through the captivating world of spices. Spices, those small but potent elements, have a history that dates back to ancient times. From the Silk routes to the spice trails, these precious commodities have driven explorers to cross oceans, merchants to establish trade networks, and entire civilizations to connect in remarkable ways. Think about it, the alluring aroma of spices motivated voyages, stirred the economy, and inspired tales of adventure. These enchanting elements have left an indelible mark on our culinary traditions. From the fiery heat of chili peppers to the warm embrace of cinnamon, spices have been employed not merely to season dishes, but to paint a story of culture and heritage. The touch of saffron in a biryani, the whisper of vanilla in a dessert, each spice carries with it a piece of its origin, a memory of the land that nurtured it. But spices are more than just flavor enhancers. They have been treasured for their medicinal properties for centuries. Ginger to soothe a sore throat, turmeric as an anti-inflammatory agent, and cloves as a natural pain reliever, the ancient wisdom of spices as healers has transcended generations and continues to be embraced by modern medicine. In the modern era, the allure of spices has not dimmed. They continue to transcend borders, enriching dishes, and creating bridges between cultures. The culinary fusion that we witness today is a testament to the enduring impact of spices. They encourage us to explore, experiment, and appreciate the diversity that our world offers. However, it's important to acknowledge that the story of spices is not without its darker chapters. The spice trade's history is intertwined with colonization and exploitation, reminding us of the need to ensure ethical practices and fair trade as we savor these gifts from the earth. In closing, let us reflect on the extraordinary journey that spices have embarked upon. They've journeyed across continents, they've kindled passions, and they've whispered tales of distant lands in our kitchens. As we sprinkle, grind, and savor, let's remember the stories these spices carry and the connections they forge. So, the next time you take a bite of a beautifully spiced dish, let your senses embark on a journey through history, culture, and humanity itself. Let's celebrate the spices that have not only tantalized our palates but also enriched our lives in ways beyond measure. Thank you.
This is the end of section 1. Now you will be hearing a speech about Sundar Pichai. First you have some time to look at question 11 to 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, and my fellow students. Today, I stand before you to talk about a visionary leader who has not only transformed the world of technology, but has also become an inspiration for countless individuals around the globe. I am here to discuss the remarkable journey of Sundar Pichai. Born in Chennai, India, in 1972, Sundar Pichai's story is a testament to the power of determination, intellect, and innovation. From humble beginnings to now leading one of the most influential technology companies in the world, his journey is nothing short of remarkable. Pichai's academic journey began in India, where he pursued his education at the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT, Kharagpur. His journey then took him to the United States, where he earned a master's degree from Stanford University and later an MBA from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. But it was his journey at Google that truly defined him. Pichai joined Google in 2004 and quickly made his mark by overseeing the development of the Google Toolbar and leading the product management and innovation for Google Chrome. His work laid the foundation for what would become the most widely used web browser in the world. One of the defining moments of Pichai's career was when he was tasked with overseeing the development of Android, Google's operating system for mobile devices. Under his leadership, Android grew exponentially, becoming the dominant mobile OS globally and reshaping the smartphone industry. Perhaps the most pivotal point in Pichai's career came in 2015, when he was appointed as the CEO of Google Incorporated, now known as Alphabet Incorporated. This marked a new era for the company as it restructured and diversified its ventures. Pichai's leadership was instrumental in Google's continued innovation across a range of products and services, from search and advertising to artificial intelligence and cloud computing. Sundar Pichai's leadership style is often characterized by his calm demeanor, his focus on collaboration, and his dedication to creating products that have a positive impact on people's lives. His commitment to fostering a culture of innovation has led Google to venture into groundbreaking technologies such as self-driving cars, quantum computing, and advancements in AI. Pichai's influence extends beyond the corporate world. He has been a vocal advocate for digital literacy and education, aiming to bring technology to underserved communities and bridge the digital divide. His commitment to sustainable business practices is evident in Google's efforts to transition to renewable energy sources and reduce its carbon footprint. In conclusion, Sundar Pichai's journey from a young student in India to the CEO of Alphabet Incorporated is an embodiment of the spirit of innovation, hard work, and perseverance. His leadership has not only shaped the tech industry, but has also inspired individuals from all walks of life to dream big and push the boundaries of what's possible. As we look to the future, may we draw inspiration from his story and continue to embrace the power of innovation for the betterment of our world. Thank you. This is the end of section 2. You have some time to check your answers.
Section 3. You will hear a student, Eric, talking to his lecturer, Miss Harris, about essay writing. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Miss Harris. Here we are talking once again.
Well, I'm always willing to help out wherever possible. Is anything troubling you?
Well, your advice last week about writing summaries was very useful, and I'm using these summaries a lot in order to prepare my final master's thesis.
But you're having problems, right?
Yes, I have a few issues to discuss. Obviously, I want a good essay, and I want to achieve high marks, but I'm not sure on the best way to start.
That's an easy question. Start with a topic, but not one that I necessarily suggest, but one that you want to explore. You will always write better when doing so on a topic you are interested in, not one imposed upon you by others.
Well, I'm interested in management theory.
Then pursue that. However, that alone is far too broad. Break it into various current areas of discussion and relevance. Then look more carefully at one of them. Say, management and cultural differences, or management and motivation, or other aspects, such as the role of salary, group cohesion, or leadership.
I would say I'm interested in group cohesion, that is, how people interact in the workplace.
Well, that's a start, but you can't then just write planlessly without defining exactly what you intend to do within the area you've chosen. You'll have to think of a thesis, and this statement could be of several types.
Such as what?
Oh, you could argue a point, something that you believe in, or discuss an issue, looking at its various perspectives, or critique the opinions of others, pointing out the pitfalls and flaws. The thesis statement will make that very clear because it will say, in simple terms, what you intend to achieve in your essay.
I see. And then I can just begin writing, right?
Wrong.
Huh?
If your essay is going to be clear, it needs to be logical and organised, and this means you'll need an outline. This could be written as a flowchart or spider graph, that is, a series of connected lines. But whatever shape the outline takes, there must be a sense of progress in, more or less, a straight line towards a goal.
And then my essay will be good?
With such progression, definitely, as long as you do achieve everything that you set out to do, as specified in the beginning, okay?
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Well, Ms. Harris, your advice about essay writing all sounds very useful, solid and step-by-step, so I'll certainly follow that. But can you tell me in more general terms, what constitutes the best essay?
Oh, there are many aspects to consider, but one of the most important is certainly original thinking. The best essays are written by people who think for themselves, and not just copy or imitate established views.
I think I can do that.
But remember, you can't just give a list of unsupported assertions. There needs to be support as well. A chain of logic linking each step in your argument.
Right.
Yet that alone is not enough. Your argument may be logically sound, but is it practically so? For that, you need examples from real life to illustrate your points or subpoints.
I've got lots of examples from my course readings. I suppose I could use them.
But remember, whenever you use an example or facts or figures that are not commonly known, you must give a reference. That's an academic necessity, without which your writing will automatically fail.
So it's necessary to give these, right?
Absolutely. And with that, your essay will be fine. But always ensure that you format it clearly.
What do you mean?
I mean the practical considerations, as written in the University Style Guide, such as leaving appropriate margins, using double spacing, Arial font, and so on. You see, your writing must look good as well as be good.
I can certainly do that.
And finally, related to the previous point, you need to respect the number of words required. Your individual lecturers will give you a word count figure, so follow what they say, making your essay neither too long nor too short. Perhaps 10% either way should be acceptable. 15% was common when I was younger, but it's a lot stricter now, and 20% would be pushing the boundaries just a little too far.
I guess I can do all that. Thanks for your advice.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4.
Section 4. You will hear a lecture about Crocodylus niloticus and its living habits. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning. Today we will continue our study of Crocodylus niloticus by talking about its living habits. We've already discussed the evolutionary attributes that set it apart from its crocodile relatives. Does everyone remember that? Yes, it has an extremely narrow snout and 3 or 4 rows of protective scales on its back, as compared to 2 rows on other members of the Crocodylus genus. Let's take a look at how these carnivorous man-eaters live, where they live, and finally, whether they really deserve their vicious reputation. To start, I'd like to address a great question posed to me by a student during yesterday's office hours. We talked about the distribution of crocodiles in Africa and saw that they are highly concentrated in the south and west of the continent. This student noticed that on the map displaying the distribution of crocodiles across Africa, there were no crocodiles in the northern region, and found no mention in the literature of the existence of crocodiles in the north of Africa. Why might there be no crocodiles in North Africa? Let's save this question for later in the lecture. To find out more about the social habits of the African crocodile, one researcher named Tara Shine of the University of Ulster in Northern Ireland conducted a survey of the wetlands in Mauritania and received reports of 46 crocodiles living in one group, or float as we say when referring to crocodiles, though the usual number is a little less than half of that. In general, crocodiles are more highly concentrated in wet subtropical environments near bodies of water and rich vegetation. While South American crocodiles thrive in cool rainforests, the African crocodile is more equipped for heat. Though they can survive at the hot temperatures found in some deserts, they are not equipped to handle dry climates and thus cannot survive in places like the Sahara Desert of North Africa. As cold-blooded animals, crocodiles' core temperatures fluctuate from their average of 38 degrees Celsius as external conditions change. Thus, they need to avoid extreme temperatures. Others live an underwater life, keeping a body temperature close to that of the water. As their own unique method of regulating their body temperatures, some African crocodiles have made dens by digging holes in the ground to provide themselves with a cool, dark place to retreat from the hot African sun. Speaking of the hot African sun, let's go back to the question asked at the beginning of the lecture. We know that there used to be crocodiles in northern Africa, yet today there are none. What are some possible explanations for this? Some students have suggested that the African crocodile has evolved from a desert creature into a wetland creature, thus causing them to migrate south for more appropriate conditions. Others presume that the crocodile was hunted out of northern Africa by a fiercer predator. While these are intelligent guesses, the real story is a little bit different. The key to this migration is that the Sahara Desert did not always cover the north of Africa. About 8,000 years ago, the land was fertile wetlands, perfect for breeding crocodiles. Over time, though, the area dried out and the wetland slowly turned to desert, leading the African crocodile to migrate south to the marshlands they call home today. Some crocodiles did, however, adapt to living in dry conditions. In Mauritania, some crocodiles have learned to survive in an area where they can go up to 8 months with no water, by spending the driest of times in what's called a torpor, or short period of hibernation. To utilize every bit of rainfall, these desert crocodiles dig underground caves that collect runoff, thus staying cool and hydrated. During the mating period in November and December, males attract females to their viciously protected territory through a number of behaviors that range from snapping their jaws all the way to sending infrasonic pulses through the water. Afterwards, the female digs a hole up to 60 centimeters in depth to store the eggs for an 80-day incubation period. The female protects these eggs during the period, and sometimes even helps crack the eggs with her snout at the end. These teeth-gnashing carnivores are softer than we think. Although these vicious creatures have attacked humans on a few occasions, the residents are not afraid of them. In fact, they show a great deal of reverence towards these wondrous creatures. Some say that crocodiles bring water to their habitat, so if they leave, they will bring the water with them. Obviously this is not true, but it demonstrates the admiration the inhabiting people have for crocodiles. Generally, crocodiles do not predate on humans. They attack when humans populate the crocodile's habitat, instilling fear and uneasiness in the crocs. Like any other species, crocodiles are known to attack when feeling fear. There's still a lot more to be discovered about the African crocodile. Researchers want to know more about the population size, how many crocodiles inhabit Africa in all, how they form separate floats, etc. There is still also much to learn about migration patterns and relations to other populations of crocodiles now found in other parts of the world. Next time, we'll examine a few specific case studies of crocodile populations in southern Africa.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. In the IELTS test, you will now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.